Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World Wrestling. Or wrestling, I should say. Thank you guys very much for hitting on this video and checking this out. This is your WWE Smackdown May 29th, 2020 results and review of this somewhat okay, but at the same time, kind of WWE bullshit as usual. Even when they try to be cool, they always come across being lame anyway. Prime example, the Jeff Hardy segment where he's getting arrested in the beginning seemed very, very over the top. Horrible acting, unnatural, not genuine whatsoever. But I liked the direction they were trying to go with this. I really enjoyed that. That was the beginning segment of this show. And it really came across somewhat like it looked realistic for a little bit. But then when they had Braun Strowman talk, when they had the cops asking Jeff Hardy, do anyone know a Jeff Hardy? Like, are you fucking serious? Like, duh, yeah, he works for the company. Why wouldn't you fucking know that? But then again, you can't also throw at me, hey, well, maybe the guy doesn't watch wrestling, he doesn't know who Jeff Hardy is. I don't know, I find it a little difficult not to know who Jeff Hardy really is, but then again, maybe he's not that big of a name to the worldwide audience as a whole that don't watch wrestling, so I could be wrong about that, but it just seems so fucking off the walls, weird, and creepy, to me, that they didn't know who the fuck Jeff Hardy was. Renee Young is standing there. This poor woman, she is being treated like absolute crap. One minute she's being pushed into a color commentary position where I would admit she was not good at her position. She wasn't good at all. But at the same time, don't demote her to a fucking low-down job with doing WWE Backstage that airs at 11 o'clock that nobody fucking watches. Literally, it is a dead-end job. And she is paying dearly for Jon Moxley leaving WWE, and I think that's a crying shame. It's a load of bullshit. Anyway, though, like I said, Jeff Hardy goes ahead, gets arrested. You see Braun Strowman is one of the first people that's interviewed by Renee Young because he's apparently a witness. And he made that segment terrible. He was fucking horrendous. There was nothing entertaining about this guy at all. He didn't come across real. He was acting horribly. If he ever stars in a movie, God help the person who makes the movie. Because they're not going to make jack shit. Nobody's going to be interested in seeing Braun Strowman in a fucking movie. At all. A cinematic movie? Fuck no. Braun Strowman's horrible. He used to be entertaining as fuck watching him destroy other opponents. His matches with Roman Reigns were off the hook when it was a hardcore matchup and so forth because they tore each other apart. But outside of the matches with Roman Reigns for Braun Strowman, I have not cared a fucking bit after 2017 at No Mercy with Brock Lesnar. Since then, he's been garbage. So, he gets arrested, apparently, because it's believed that he had alcohol inside his vehicle, which he did, but supposedly he was framed at the same time. How he had paperwork of a rental car with his name on it in a vehicle while he had a bottle of booze and supposedly was framed, I can't figure out either. Which you later on find out during the main event with Daniel Bryan and the winner of the Battle Royal, which was also introduced here during the next segment after Jeff Hardy was arrested. So basically, you're seeing them sitting there. Some random dude I'd never seen before is backstage explaining the situation about what they're going to do, and they decided that they were going to have Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles advance to the finals at this point to go one-on-one for the Intercontinental in 2 weeks. But not on the Backlash pay-per-view, on Smackdown. Makes a lot of sense, right? Sure. I love the attempt they were trying to do here. I thought it was interesting, but at the same time, they failed in my book. I'm sorry. It just was a failure in my opinion. But I did like how they tried to utilize some realism to Jeff Hardy on television, because he has been dealing with some alcohol abuse problems and it has gotten him in trouble with the law. So I thought that was kind of neat. So they're debating backstage. Daniel Bryan says, look, I didn't come into this tournament to get a free pass. I want to compete tonight. I'm here to make my right to advance and earn my shot to the finals, not give it to me. So it's announced that there's going to be a 10-man battle royale, and the winner would face Daniel Bryan later on that night. And that's how that segment ended. AJ Styles couldn't understand Daniel Bryan, and as well as myself. Why the fuck would he care? Who gives a shit? They get to advance. What the hell do they need to worry about? I thought that was fucking retarded. And when AJ said he was a jackass or an idiot, whatever the comment was made, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was funny. They made AJ Styles more intelligent than Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan's the face. What fucking dumb shit. But at the end of the day, it made Daniel Bryan look like a guy who wanted to earn his right to win the Intercontinental Championship. Great. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think that's great. And it also does bring some prestige to the Intercontinental Championship in a way, because there's people that are trying to compete over it and have an interest in becoming a champion. So I did like that aspect of this. So then we get the 10-man Battle Royal. The winner of this, come on, if you thought it was going to be like Dolph Ziggler, Shinsuke Nakamura, Sheamus is the one who wins, sorry. If you thought King Corbin was going to win, that's a possibility, but that would have really sucked. Drew Gulak, forget it. Shorty G, which is really Chad Gable, I don't know why they're still going by Shorty G after all this time he's been off TV. There should have been a reason why he was off TV, which there was no explanation. You'd have think they would have just changed his name back to Chad Gable and make it a little bit more simplistic to why he was actually being mentioned as, it would have explained why he was off TV by just repackaging him back to Chad Gable. It would have made more sense. But whatever. If you thought Drew Gulak, Jay Uso, or Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik and Cesaro were going to win, you're fucking crazy. Cesaro's the worst out of the bunch. Cesaro is a great performer and yet is used as a jobber. That is fucking terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. So yeah, Sheamus wins the Battle Royale and ends up winning this. Didn't really care for it. It reminded me a lot of the Battle Royal we saw on AEW on Wednesday night. So after the match, Sheamus stands tall as he now has his second chance in the tournament. Sheamus poses in the corner and yells out as his music hits. We go to replays. Cole shows us the updated Intercontinental Tournament brackets, which, again, made no sense. AJ got a bye into the finals. Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan will take place later on as the semifinals. So, still to come, we have a special Tag Team Summit edition of A Moment of Bliss. I like how JD from New York 206 says it. A moment of piss. I totally agree with that. And that's with the New Day. There's nothing new about the New Day. They need to change their name. They need to do something different. This team needs to change. This New Day bullshit don't work for me. It's fucking bullshit. Sonya Deville is backstage warming up. She recalls dominating Mandy Rose last week and says the same fate awaits Lacey Evans this week. Evans has appeared behind her now, and Deville continues looking at the camera and says for Evans to put her hair up and square up. Evans shoves Deville from behind, sends her to the ground. Evans talks some trash to Deville and heads to the ring as we go to commercial break. Why wouldn't Sonya Deville get up and attack her back? A backstage brawl. Why wouldn't we get that? It brings some kind of emotional tension between these two before they have a match, and then they get in the middle of the match and tear each other apart some more. That would have made it more interesting. What a fucking dumb move that was. They lost on that opportunity to bring some kind of raw emotion to this. That's the problem with WWE. There's no raw emotion. There's nothing there. There's no substance. So back from the break, a referee is in the middle of, as Shorty G argues with Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. He says he was robbed. Cesaro talks some trash and says he is not fit to be an Intercontinental Champion. They start making stupid short jokes about Shorty G and mentions a potential match to show him a lesson as well. And Cesaro looks at Nakamura and laughs, but G rocks Cesaro and sends him to the ground. G says he accepts Cesaro's challenge. G walks off with Cesaro on the ground. Now, they also in Wrestling Incorporated forget to mention in their commentary of this show, they forgot to mention that Shinsuke Nakamura is holding Cesaro up and he's smiling. Why the fuck is Shinsuke Nakamura smiling at anything? His own partner got knocked on the ground and made to look like a punk. I mean, like, what the fuck? That was ridiculous. I mean, I am shitting on this right now. I did like some of the matches. The matches were pretty good. I mean, I didn't have any issues with the matches. But just the commentary, the dialogue between wrestlers, as usual with WWE, is bogus. It's just downright dreadful. It's the worst acting job you can give anyone. And I just think it's crap. 100% crap. Lacey Evans versus Sonya Deville. I have to admit, this match was decent. Sonya Deville and Lacey Evans worked pretty well together in this match. I actually enjoyed this. Lacey Evans actually, this ends up being a double countout, which could lead to a rival match to a pay-per-view of Backlash. I wouldn't mind that. Put it on the pre-show. There you go. You have it for a pre-show matchup. There you go. Forgotten Sons, whatever, man. It's pointless crap talking about this. We got a viewer discretion advised disclaimer before the next backstage promo from the Forgotten Sons. Jackson Riker and Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake are actually backstage. Riker and Cutler introduce themselves, referencing their time in the service. Blake says he's the one who appreciates what they did to serve our country. They go on, and Blake says they will no longer turn the cheek after what was done to them. What was done to them? I don't know what the fuck was done to them. What, they were discharged from the military and mistreated afterwards into the real world in the United States or something, like the Vietnam veterans did. I mean, granted, it's terrible if you're a veteran and you're mistreated by your own country after service, but come on. You're working for WWE, getting paid millions of dollars or close to millions of dollars to act like a fucking buffoon. So, whatever. So they say they're done turning the other cheek. Their blood was on your hands before. Now it's only fair that your blood is on their hands. They pose and put their fists on their hearts at the same time, ending the promo. Why do they start saying, "We the people"? Like Jack Swagger with Zeb Coulter. I mean, what the fuck? Like a fucking complete copycat of the same thing, in my opinion. Only with a hardcore army veteran type mentality look to it. So we go to see Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Alexa, I can't believe what fucking Nikki Cross sounds like, man. Sounds like a fucking dumbass, man. It was fucking ridiculous, the whole thing. This whole entire segment was leading to talking about the New Day and their issues with the tag team division, which there is no tag team division, making their title reign mean nothing. And then out comes Bayley and Sasha Banks. She starts making commentary about how she managed to beat Charlotte Flair without the help of Sasha Banks ringside, which was great. It was a good matchup last week, I have to admit. I didn't review that episode, but who cares? You're not missing much with Smackdown and Raw. Let's be honest. But bottom line, Bayley comes out. She starts talking for Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks looked fucking hot as shit. She was the hottest chick in the ring. She made Alexa look fucking pathetic. Though she could live without the blue hair, I think. I think, you know, like black hair, brown hair, something like that would be fine. Matching with the color of her skin, which makes her look hot as fuck the way she looks. I would totally bang her. Alright, whatever. I'm gonna get off the whole sexual references. Anyway, bottom line, Bayley was talking up for Sasha Banks here, which led to Sasha Banks versus Alexa one-on-one. And Sasha Banks ends up winning the match, which I was very happy to see. Overall, was it much? Not really. Nothing big. I mean, Sasha Banks' moveset is very bland, boring. I mean, I do like the modified moonsault that she does, the Twisted Bliss thing. I think that's pretty much the only good maneuver that she does in her matches. Outside of that, she's boring as fuck. She used to be great on SmackDown back in 2016, and then when she went to Raw, she turned into crap too. Alright, so after the match, Bayley joins Banks to celebrate as Bliss sits up in the ring. We go to replays as the music hits. Still to come, a look at how Otis and Mandy Rose got away earlier today to celebrate what looks like a budding love story. Also an update on the breaking news story about Elias and Jeff Hardy back to the commercial. I don't think I need to touch up on that too much. It's very obvious it's a storyline injury. And they mentioned back from the break what happened with Jeff Hardy and Elias earlier, which pulled them from the tournament for the vacated Intercontinental Championship. Cole hypes up Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus as the tournament semifinals later that night. Then we get Shorty G versus Cesaro. Of course, what happens? Shorty G wins. Shorty G wins. Do we ever get to see Cesaro be like what he was in 2012, 2013, and even in 2014, and actually build him up off of that? Nah. Why would we get that? We don't need to build Cesaro up. He's one of the strongest men in their fucking company. He looks like a skinny, fit guy, but he can lift up a guy like Big Show over the top rope, making Hulk Hogan's scoop slam to the fucking Giant, or Andre the Giant, pathetic. I don't know. I have no idea. Makes no sense to me, but Shorty G wins this match. After the match, G heads out as his music hits. Cesaro is shocked at the loss. We go to replays. G celebrates and makes his exit as they have a few more words. Big whoop. From here, we get the Fast Times with Otis and Mandy Rose, with her acting as if she is having a fantasy in her own mind while she's sleeping and getting turned on by Otis. None of this is believable. None of it. A story like Daniel Bryan picking up a chick like Brie Bella to be his wife, with him having a fucking hair all over his face is a believable story than this. That is a underdog story picking up a woman like that. This is just over-the-top ridiculous that would never happen in real life. I am sorry. This is not believable at all. How any woman like Mandy Rose could be attracted to a guy like Otis is beyond me. Her standards must be extremely low. I have no idea. But Otis, he's not the most entertaining guy. He is over-the-top ridiculous with the, oh yeah, ooh yeah. It sounds like fucking Macho Man Randy Savage in a lame version. Fucking ridiculous crap. So, we get all of that, and then they start making out in real life after Otis wakes her up from a cannonball into the pool. And they start making out. Whoop-de-fuck-you-do. Who gives a flying fuck? Do you? I know I don't. We have Matt Riddle being introduced by Kurt Angle on Smackdown. Kurt Angle did not even look directly into the camera. As you will notice, if you look at that clip, you will notice him staring up in the air, not directly at the camera. You can clearly see he's reading cue cards. When I went ahead and I was watching this, I said, "Hey, Kurt, why don't you speak from the heart and stop reading the cue cards, would you?" Shit. But he goes on talking about Matt Riddle, highlighting what he has been doing in NXT. They show highlights of what he has done. He talks about how he got to see Matt Riddle firsthand in the NXT cage fight, which, by the way, was fantastic. If you did not watch that match or watch that episode, catch that, just that match alone. If you don't care about the rest of the NXT show, because it's an empty arena practically with NXT newbies from the Performance Center being the fans, and you just want to check that match out, highly recommend it. Great matchup between Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher. They made him look good, but I have no idea how they're going to do this. I don't know if they're going to make him continue to be the same Matt Riddle, or are they going to change his gimmick entirely? I hope that's not the case. I hope they leave him as is, but, you know, WWE, once you go to WWE main roster, there ain't no coming back from the everlasting defeat of your career turning into shit. There ain't no way of coming back from that. You're fucked. So we get Kaylee Braxton backstage. She says, we're all excited for Matt Riddle's arrival, but Sheamus interrupts for their interview. He mentions Jeff Hardy and Riddle, says why they get all the hype, he gets results. Sheamus says that's why he won the Battle Royal, and will enjoy hitting the brogue kick on Daniel Bryan tonight. He goes for the one title he hasn't won in WWE. Who gives a shit? Why would you care to go after the WWE Championship? Or the WWE Intercontinental title? Why wouldn't you care about going after the Universal Championship or the WWE title? You have accomplished so much in your career as a performer. I like the old version Sheamus that we got here since his return, but how they've been using him has been terrible. He has been a fucking jobber to guys like Jeff Hardy and fucking Matt and Daniel Bryan. Like, why? He jobs out to Daniel Bryan in the main event, which actually comes up here. They do discuss some shit with Braun Strowman, The Miz, and John Morrison for Braun Strowman's Universal Championship, which is the SmackDown's main event, I would assume, for the Backlash pay-per-view. The semifinals for the WWE Intercontinental Championship tournament continues with Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan. As I mentioned, he ends up losing this matchup thanks to Jeff Hardy showing up in the arena. Now, what did he do? Even if it was proven that Jeff Hardy ended up, proving his innocence and that he was framed, what the fuck would even show up at the arena? It made no sense to me. Now, granted, they still have an opportunity to make sense of it next week on SmackDown, which I hope they explain what the fuck that was. Because if they explain it, then that was a good cliffhanger for people to tune in for next week's episode to make sense of it. Now, if they waste people's time tuning into it and they don't get an explanation, well, then you just wasted everybody's time. And on top of it, like, who fucking cares at this point? Jeff Hardy's return to WWE's TV programming means nothing. Just garbage, like usual. Anyway, guys, hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. And, of course, leave a comment down below, and I will definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great night, guys.